Hi guys, and welcome back to Shimmer. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. I have finally figured out my hands-free mic setup. So tonight I'm going to be testing them out with you guys, doing some far away, and then close, closer. And then I'm going to be very close. And then I might whisper from here all the way over here, with a little bit of soft spoken in between. Tonight I have this book here, a poem for every night of the year. It's a really nice book. It's very relaxing. I like this gold lettering that you can see here. And it's basically a poem for every day. It starts on January 1st. So in the new year, you can have a poem every night. So I'm going to read some poems from this book for you guys, and I'm just going to get at a very different distance depending on what I'm reading. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 15th of November. Fear good night. I'm not really sure. By Jackie K. This poem is taken from the award-winning Scottish poet Jackie K's 2011 collection, and it's a perfect poem to read just before going to bed. In the Scots dialect, fear means mate or companion. And this is just one of the many Scots terms used in the poem. When you've had your last one for the road, a Linkwood, a Talisker, a Macallan, and you've finished your short story and played one more Nacht und Traum, and Roland Hayes singing sweetly, and pictured yourself on the road, the one that stretches to infinity, and said goodnight to your dead, and fathomed the lakes in the long day. Then it's time to say goodnight to Fiere, and lay your island head on your feather pillow, far away, in England, Canada, New Zealand, and Corey in. The good dreams are drifting quietly tuned, like Fig Mallory, my Fiere, my dearie. And you'll sleep as soon as a Peary. And you are turning slowly towards the light. Good night, Fiere, good night. I will say I don't know if I pronounced everything correctly in that one, so my apologies. I'm just reading whatever the dates are. Okay, now we have the 16th of November. It's called The Wind and the Moon by George MacDonald. On mid-November nights, the wind can blow bitterly, and moonlight can make the frost-covered earth shimmer and sparkle. This fantastic poem by George MacDonald imagines both the wind and the moon as people, supplying them with personalities and feelings. The poem has a strange visual shape, juxtaposing very short and rather long lines in a way which imitates the gusts of wind blowing fiercely for a moment before subsiding. With its quick fire rhymes and humorous twist, this is a great poem to read out loud. Well, isn't that lucky for us then? Said the wind to the moon, I will blow you out. You stare in the air like a ghost in a chair, always looking what I am about. I hate to be watched. I'll blow you out. The wind blew hard, and out went the moon, so deep on a heap of clouds to sleep. Down lay the wind and slumbered soon, muttering low, I've done for that moon. He turned in his bed. She was there again, on high in the sky, with her one ghost eye. The moon shone white and alive and plain. Said the wind, I will blow you out again. The wind blew hard, and the moon grew slim. With my sledge and wedge, I have knocked off her edge. If only I blew right fierce and grim, the creature will soon be slimmer than slim. He blew, and she thinned to a thread. One puff, more's enough to blow her to snuff. One good puff more where the last was bred, and glimmer, glimmer, glum will go to the thread. He blew a great blast, and the thread was gone. In the air, nowhere, was a moonbeam bare. Far off and harmless the shy stars shone. Sure and certain the moon was gone. The wind he took to his revels once more, on down and down, like a merry mad clown. He leaped and hallooed with whistle and roar. What's that? The glimmering thread once more. He flew in a rage. He danced and blew, but in vain was the pain of his bursting brain. For still the broader the moon's scrap grew, the broader he swelled its big cheeks and blew. Slowly she grew till she filled the night and shone on her throne. In the sky alone, a matchless, wonderful, silvery light, radiant and lovely, the queen of the night. Said the wind, first blew her away right out of the sky, then blew her in. What strength have I? But the moon, she knew nothing about the affair, for high in the sky with her one white eye, motionless miles above the air, she had never heard the great wind blare. Okay, we have the 17th of November, the Duke of Fire, and the Duchess of Ice. And this poem is by Carol Ann Duffy. We all know the phrase, opposites attract. But can't you imagine how difficult life would be if spending time with your opposite meant turning into a puddle, like the previous poem, This Piece by the poet laureate Carol Ann Duffy, is about an unlikely couple. A Duke made of fire and a Duchess of ice. Passionate love for the Duke of Fire, the Duchess of Ice felt. One kiss was her heart's desire, but with one kiss she would melt. She dreamed of him in his red pantaloons, in his orange satin blouse, in his crimson cravat, in his tangerine hat, in his vermilion dancing shoes. One kiss, lips of flame on frost. One kiss, pure bliss, and never count the cost. She woke. She went to the bathroom. She took a freezing shower. Her body is pale as a stalagmite, winter's palest flower. The Duke of Fire stood there, radiant, ablaze with love. And the Duchess of Ice cared nothing for anything in the world. She spoke. His name. Her voice was snow. Kissed him again. And in his warm, passionate arms turned to water, tears, rain. Okay, this is the 20th of November. The Moon Was But a Gin of Gold by Emily Dickinson. In this poem, Emily Dickinson marvels at the changes that happen to the moon every month. The narrator of the poem seems surprised that the moon can evolve so quickly from a tinge of gold to a full, perfect face just over the course of a night or two. The moon was but a chin of gold a night or two ago, and now she turns her perfect face upon the world below. Her forehead is of amplest blonde, her cheek a beryl hue, her eye unto the summer dew, the high-kissed I have known. Her lips of amber never part, but what must be the smile upon her friend she could confer, were such her silver will, and what a privilege to be but the remotest star, for certainty she takes planet is the firmament, the universe her shoe, the stars, the trinkets at her belt, her dimities of blue. Now we have the 22nd of November, the Runaway by Robert Frost. A Morgan is a small and sturdy type of horse. Bred in New England, the colt in this poem has never seen snow before. He runs around his pasture panicking. He doesn't understand the cold, wet prickles all over his coat, and white dots swirling around, obscuring his vision. Once, when the snow of the year was beginning to fall, we stopped by a mountain pasture to say, "Who's cold?" Little Morgan had one forefoot on the wall, the other curled at his breast. He tipped his head and snorted to us, and then we saw him bolt. We heard the miniature thunder where he fled. We saw him, or thought we saw him, dim and gray, like a shadow instead. Excuse me. Like a shadow across instead behind the flakes. The little fellow's afraid of the falling snow. He never saw it before. It isn't play with the little fellow at all. He's running away. He wouldn't believe when his mother told him. Sakes, it's only weather. He thought she didn't know. So this is something he has to bear alone. And now he comes again with the clatter of stone. He mounts the wall again with whited eyes, dilated nostrils, and tail held straight up straight. He shudders his coat as if to throw off flies. Whoever it is that leaves him out so late, when all other creatures have gone to stall, and Ben ought to be told to come and take him. This one is the 24th of November. It's called Winter Poem by Nikki Giovanni. Nikki Giovanni is one of the most celebrated living African-American poets and is particularly well known for her powerful political poetry. This little poem, however, takes as its subject winter weather. The poet brings the wintry setting of the poem to life, giving snowflakes the ability to feel happy, while the poem acknowledges that the beautiful snow cannot last forever. The final image is of new life springing up after the freezing winter weather has departed. Once a snowflake fell on my brow, and I loved it so much, and I kissed it, and it was happy and called its cousins and brothers, and a web of snow engulfed me then. I reached to love them all, and I squeezed them, and they became a spring rain, and I stood perfectly still, and was a flower. This is the 25th of November. It's called
The New England Boys Song About Thanksgiving Day by Lydia Maria Child.
Thanksgiving is a holiday that remembers and gives thanks for the kindness that the first pilgrims
to America were shown by the Native Americans from the Wampanoag tribe in 1863.
Abraham Lincoln set aside the last Thursday in November as an official national day of Thanksgiving.
Nowadays, the holiday is usually celebrated by families and friends, enjoying a meal together, often with turkey as the main dish.
This poem by Lydia Maria Child draws on childhood memories
of visits to her grandfather's house. Over the river and through the wood.
To grandfather's house we go. The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh through the white
and drifted snow. Over the river and through the wood to grandfather's house away.
we would not stop for doll or top, for 'tis Thanksgiving
Day. Over the river and through the woods, oh how the wind does blow.
It stings the toes and bites the nose as over the ground we go.
Over the river and through the wood, with a clear blue winter sky.
The dogs do bark and children hark as we go jingling by.
Over the river and through the wood, to have a first-rate play.
Hear the bells ring, ting-a-ling-ding, hurrah for Thanksgiving Day. Over the river
And through the wood, no matter the winds that blow, or if we get the sleigh upset into a bank of snow.
over the river and through the wood, to see little John and Anne. We will kiss
Them all, and play snowball, and stay as long as we can. Over the river and through the wood, trot fast my dapple gray.
spring over the ground like a hunting hound, for 'tis Thanksgiving
Day. Over the river and through the wood, and straight through the barnyard gate, we seem to go.
extremely slow.
It is so hard to wait. Over the river and through the wood,
Old Jowler healer. Old Jowler hears our bells. He shakes his pow.
with a loud bow-wow, and thus the news he tells. Over the river and through the wood, when grandmother sees us come, she will say, "Oh dear, the children are here." Bring a pie for everyone. Over the river and through the wood,
Now grandmother's cap I spy. Hurrah for the fun.
is the pudding done? Hurrah for the pumpkin pie.
Okay guys, I think that's everything for tonight. Shout out to this book. hope you enjoyed this video. And